I'm just going to go ahead and launch episode 1 of questions I think are worth asking, but I'm probably not going to ever finish looking up. But do you find it to be an interesting question also? I am standing in a creek bed that once had native plants in it. Instead, this was fed to goats as part of a vegetation management program. And now the vegetation has come back, except that it is full of annual non-native grasses and some things like curly dock. These are not supposed to be here. But it took until today, May 15th, for them to get this tall and resemble anything that could be considered cover. Now, I've often in my other videos asked about the status of ducks and aquatic animals that are trying to find nesting ground. Mallards lay eggs between mid-March and the end of July. Here's the question. When do they start searching for suitable nesting habitat? Not when do they lay the eggs, not when do they build the nest. When do they start searching for a place to even consider doing anything? It's obviously a critical choice for an animal to make, choosing the right spot to lay the eggs. Now, this was laid bare, just laid bare. The tall natural reeds and sedges and cattails, gone, just gone. Everything, even the invasives, gone. This year's rains have helped plants come back and grow tall, but most of that happened at the end of April and to now, which means really this has only had vegetation in it for about a month, and it's not the appropriate vegetation. I've been reduced to almost being thankful for the invasive weeds, because otherwise it's absolute, complete, barren, dry creek bed. Here, give you a hint of how dry it is. So, how much does removing natural vegetation, perennial vegetation that should be here all year round and goes through its own natural cycle, whether it's winter, fall, summer, how much does the complete removal of that vegetation affect animals that are looking for places to nest? Remember, the timeline for survival does not begin when you read in a publication when that animal lays the eggs. The timeline for survival starts when the species has to begin competing with its own species and other species to find a suitable place to even consider doing the nest building or egg laying. That's my first question that I think is worth asking, and I'll probably never get around to answering. What do you think? Simply panning to the right of this creek that was consumed by the goats, you can see that my favorite Italian thistle has replaced the native plants that were once here. But we call this vegetation management. I've stopped at another section of the creek because I found a body of water. It's not a flowing body of water, so it's probably going to dry up pretty soon, but it is a little bit different looking than the other spot that I filmed. And we have some native plants that are growing, but do those really benefit the ducks at this stage? Are they big enough? Do they have anything to do with the ducks? That's really a question within my original question. But back to the main point, is this adequate for a hiding spot? I think I pointed that fallen tree down in a video earlier this year, and that if that hadn't fallen or provided all that there wouldn't be anything here resembling a hiding place. So even if I could find some reeds in this creek that have grown back to a decent height, is it too little too late?